Here's lesson 11.3, surface area of pyramids and cones. A pyramid is a polyhedron with a polygon as a base, and the other faces are triangles that meet at a common vertex. So in our picture, notice this is a square pyramid. So the base is a square, and then it forms a pyramid. So notice, in the pyramid, we have two different kinds of height. The first one is the height. How tall is it? So that goes to the center. And the other one is the slant height. So what is the slant? So notice it'll go to the midpoint of the side over there. So this is how tall it is, and then this is the height of one of those lateral faces. So again, the altitude or height is the height to the top of the vertex of the pyramid, and the slant height is the height of each lateral face. A regular pyramid is a pyramid with a base that is a regular polygon. That means all sides and all angles are the same. In this, all lateral edges end up being congruent, and all lateral faces are congruent isosceles triangles. So here is a regular pyramid, and here is a non-regular pyramid. So the slant height is a little bit different on each face. Lateral area for a regular pyramid. So shaded over here in the brown gold is a lateral face. When we have a regular polygon as the base, all of those faces are going to be the same. So that's why we're going to take 4 times the area of one of those triangles. So in this case, 1/2 base times height, the base is F, and the L, cursive L, is slant height. So this is technically the cursive L. So if we figure this out, and we use the distributive property, so we would multiply the 4 in there, and that gives us pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to rearrange this order. So I'm going to rewrite it as 1/2 times 4f times the slant height. So I would maybe call this the commutative property instead of the distributive property. So then what we have in parentheses here, 4 times f, is going to be the perimeter of the base. So that's 1/2 perimeter of the base times the slant height. And notice how this is a capital P, so that means the perimeter of the base. So if we want to find the surface area of the whole thing, this is all the lateral area, and then we just have to add the bottom. So how can we use the lateral area formula to find the complete surface area? So this is that lateral area we were just talking about, and here's that cursive L, the slant height. All we have to do is add that blue base to the bottom. So 1/2 PL plus base. So notice how the P and the B are both capitalized. That means they revolve around the dimensions of the base. So let's try a couple of examples. In the first one, we have a pyramid. So what we want to do is find the perimeter of the base. So each side is 4, and we have 4 sides, so 4 times 4 is 16. The slant height is this red dotted line, and that is given to us at 6. The area of the base of a square is base times height, or side squared, so that gives us 16. And then the lateral area is that 1/2 perimeter times the slant height. So we already have those values in. So 1/2 of 16 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48 units squared. So those are all the lateral faces. Now we just have to add the base to that. So our lateral area plus the area of the base gives us 64 square inches. Let's get started on the second one. So what I noticed right away is we don't have a dimension of the base, so we have to figure that out. So we are given the actual height and the slant height, so I redrew this picture here. So it is a right triangle, so we can use Pythagorean theorem. This is a 9. 11 squared equals 9 squared plus x squared. So you have to solve to find this leg here. So 121 minus 81 gives us 40, and then you take the square root. So that is x. And that x is approximately 6.3. So then when we find the perimeter, we want to know the whole side, so we have to double that. So that's where we get 12.6. So each side of the base is 12.6, and we have 4 sides. So that gives us 50.4 units, or inches in this case. So then the slant height is the, yep, you got it, the 11. And the area of the base is 12.6 quantity squared. And if you throw that on your calculator, you get 158.8 square inches. And the lateral area is the 1/2 perimeter, which is 50.4. So this is our perimeter of the base, and now we need our slant height, which is 11. So half of 11 times 50.4 is 277.2 square inches. And the last thing we want is the surface area. So that's going to be the lateral area plus the base. So the lateral area is 277.2 plus the base 158.8, which gives us 436 square inches. So why don't you try these two examples on your own? Please stop the video here and give them some time to work. Once everybody is finished, please play the video. In the top example, we find our perimeter as being each side of 30 times 4 sides gives us a perimeter of 120 meters. To find our slant height, notice it's missing. It's this side BA. We need to use Pythagorean theorem. So we have 36.4 squared plus 15 squared equals x squared. And 15 is half of that 30. And we get 39.4. Our lateral area is 1/2 perimeter times the slant height. So that's 1/2 120 times 39.4. Double check that you got the same answer as I did. In the second example, we have a hexagonal prism. And again, our missing slant height needs to be found. So our perimeter is a 6-sided figure with 36 as its side length. So that gives us a perimeter of 216 feet. For Pythagorean theorem, we have 42 squared plus the other leg, which is 18 square root of 3. So you have to be careful. You have to make sure that you square the 18 and you square the 3. So 18 squared is 324. The square root of 3 squared is 3. So when you add those two and you take the square root, you should be getting 52.3 feet. Then for our lateral area, that's 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. Our final answer is 5,648.4 square feet. The next thing we're going to look at is cones. A right cone, the height or altitude is always perpendicular to the center of the circle. An oblique cone is a cone whose height or altitude is not perpendicular to the center of the circle. So take a look at our vocab words. Here's our base, there's our slant height again, cursive L, there's our vertex and our height. Vertex and our height. And then there is the slant height we don't have because it's different depending on where you measure it. So lateral area and surface area of a cone. Here's the formula. Lateral area is still 1/2 perimeter times slant height, except now our base is a circle. So we have to remember that perimeter is the same thing as circumference. So circumference is either diameter times pi or 2 pi r, where 2r is the same thing as a diameter. For surface area, that's going to be the lateral area plus the base. And area of the base is going to be area of the circle, which is pi r squared. So the formula that I like to use for surface area is 1/2 diameter times pi times the slant height plus pi r squared. So then we do the 1/2 PL, except instead of doing the P, I put in the circumference, and then instead of doing the B, I put in the pi r squared. So if we try this first example, this is a cone. The perimeter of the cone is going to be the circumference. So the radius is 15 and our diameter is 30. So 30 pi would be our perimeter. The slant height is given to us at 25. The area of the base will be radius squared times pi, which gives us 225 pi. The lateral area is 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. So 1/2 30 pi times 25 gives us 375 pi. So then we have our lateral area plus the area of the base, which gives us 600 pi. And our label would be square centimeters. Try the next problem. Please pause the video and start it back up once everybody's gotten their answers. So again, we have a base that is a circle, so the perimeter is going to be circumference. Diameter is 24. For our slant height, we have to use Pythagorean theorem. 16 squared plus 12 squared equals L squared. So square them, add them up, and take the square root. The area of the base is radius squared times pi, so that's 144 pi square feet. The lateral area is 1/2 perimeter times the slant height. So that gives us 240 pi square feet. So then we want our lateral area plus one of our bases, and that gives us 384 square feet. In this next example, it says find the area of the composite solid. That just means we're combining two cones together. So we won't actually even need the area of the base. So we're going to have the lateral area of cone 1 and the lateral area of cone 2. So we're going to utilize 1/2 perimeter times slant height. So we will need to have the slant height. So we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So I see 6 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared, and we get 7.2. On the other side, we have 8 squared plus 4 squared equals y squared for 8.9. So just a review of Pythagorean theorem. So for the left half, we have 1/2. Perimeter is going to be our circumference, so we need our diameter. So half is our radius is 4, so our diameter is 8. So that's 8 pi. And that'll be the same for both cones. And our slant height on the left is 7.2. For the cone on the right, then that's 1/2, 8 pi still, but now the slant height is 8.9. So plug and chug the left, plug and chug the right, and then we'll add those numbers together. I'm going to leave them in terms of pi. So I get 64.4 pi inches squared, or square inches. In the next example, it says the surface area of a cone is 72 pi square inches and the radius is 4 inches. What is the slant height of the cone? So here's the formula for surface area, but because this is a circle on the base, we have to change perimeter to diameter times pi and the base to pi r squared. So I'm going to use the second formula. They tell us they know what the surface area is, so I'm going to fill that in as 72 pi, and our radius is 4. That's going to make our diameter 8. I'll leave our slant height blank for a second, and our radius here will be 4 squared. So we're trying to find the slant height, so that's where I'm going to put my unknown. So here's what we're envisioning. We have a cone, and we're trying to find the slant height over here. So if I simplify, half of 8 is 4, so we get 4 pi x. The next thing we can do is subtract the 16 pi. The next thing I notice is that I have a pi on the left and the right side, so I could just divide it off. And I have 56 equals 4x, divide by 4, and that slant height is equal to 14 inches. This concludes my presentation. I hope you learned a lot today. Have a good day.